Hi friends, welcome to Tutors Funny channel. Today I am going to teach the introduction of Hibernate. There are many students who request me to teach Hibernate, so that I have starting the lesson Hibernate. Right? Hibernate is nothing but which is a ORM tool. It stands for Object Relational Model. Object Relational Mapping. Okay, it stands for Object Relational Mapping. Right? Uh, Hibernate ORM enable the developer more easily write the application though whose data outlives the application process. Right? It's very simply we have managed the database operations. The CRUD operation we are managed by ORM tool very easy. Okay, object relational mapping. We have to learn how to relation the database using the objects. Right. So first what I'm going to do is if you are not to install the we IntelliJ idea, you must install the IntelliJ idea. This is a professional editor for writing the Java codes. Right. Now, I'm going to create a new project. So, file, new project. Here, you have to select a version Java 8. I have installed. Click next. Click next. Here, I'm going to get the project which name is Hibernate. Hibernate. Right. Project. All right. Finish it. Right. So here this is your project, right? So you have a src folder. It will be created successfully here, src folder. Now I'm going to select the project. I'm going to create a new folder. Right click. Here I'm going to create a new folder, new directory, which is a we have created the directory which is a lib. Here I'm going to create two different folders, directories. One is a Hibernate. Another one is a MySQL. Select the live MySQL connector. Right. So we have created two different folders, MySQL connector and Hibernate. Right. Now, first we have to download the respective drivers for accessing the object relational mapping. So what is the driver we have to download? We have to download the two different drivers. First one is a MySQL driver. Second one is a Hibernate. So we have to download. We have type on Google Hibernate core. So type Hibernate core. I just type Hibernate core. I have to download this one. This is the version I am going to get it. Right. So click download. Okay, you have to download the jar file. I'm getting a jar files. So go to this jar directory here. Right. So the first you have a this is the final jar they are releasing 6.2.1. I'm getting that this version I'm going to get it. Right. You have to click on this one and you are getting. Okay, I already download this one. You just click and download. Okay, if you click it will be downloaded that jar file. Right. After that you have to download the MySQL. You have to type the MySQL connector. So you have to go MySQL connector jar. Right. So here you can go over here. You have to download that jar here. Download the MySQL jar. Click on this one. Right. So here you have to download the jar file. Click and you have download. Click and it will be download. If you click it here, it will be download. Right. I already download, so that I don't need that this moment. Right. Now after downloaded, you have to. I already download this one. Those jar files. So I'm getting access those jar files. Right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get it. Right, to jar file. Right. This is the jar I downloaded. Right. So here it will be coming like this. If you are download jar, I extract it. Right click and you have to if you click extract file, it goes here. Here, if you download the Hibernate, these are the jar files are there. Now I'm going to copy this all jars, copy, right click and copy back to my project. Here I have created two different folders inside the lib folder. Select the Hibernate folder, right click. You have an option which is a paste. You click on this option. It asks this is the direct, right? So here this is our path where my project is resided. So I just click OK. Now there, what are the jar files you have copied? It will be pasted over here. All the jar files should be there inside this folder. Right. Now I'm going to get in the MySQL connector as jar as well. So that also I downloaded. Here this is a MySQL jar. This is the version, right? The copy I have to put it here as well. Right. Perfect. Now we have pasted this both jar files, right? Now we have to configure the project. So we have to go to the file for project structure. Okay. So here you have to go to the libraries, right? Okay. You have to do this step by step. Then only you can. If you are not added the jar files properly, you can't write the Hibernate codes. Okay. So here click on this plus sign. Click Java. Here this is your project. Hibernate project. Here inside the lib folder, we have Hibernate. Inside the Hibernate, all the libraries there. Click on one, hold on the shift key down on, select one, hold on the shift key down on, select, hold on shift key down on, select here. So all the jars should be, all the jar files are selected. Click OK. Click OK. It all the calls are coming here. Again, click the plus symbol and create again. Go over here, lib, MySQL connector. Click on this jar file. Click OK. Click OK. You are getting the MySQL connector and this one should be the Hibernate. You can name this one as a Hibernate or you can type in Hibernate. Right. Perfect. Right. So here you have to go to the project structure. I just right. These two things, right. Click OK. Right. Now what I'm going to do is now let's create the file, the src folder, right click, new, class app initializer. App initializer. Here, first you have to type the line standard service. Right. The problem is the jar file is not getting. That's a problem. So I just remove it again. If there is any problem, you just go. I think this I'm not setting properly. So I just this one I have to remove it. Plus sign and remove it. Again I'm going to create. Click on this. You have to remove here as well. I'm going to create again Java. Select this one. Lib Hibernate. Select one. Hold on shift key down and select all. Click OK. Click OK. Yes. Here apply over here. Then only it will be. Here it will be installing. Okay, here it will be installing. Earlier I haven't applied this one. That's why it not taken. Okay, you must apply those files, right? Okay, right. Now click OK. Now it will be applied successfully. Now let's check it. Standard service, here it's coming, it's popping. Service registry, right? If you are getting those error, you must try to solve that one. Okay, you have to remove and import the jar file. Then only you will be able to write the class. If you import the jar files correctly, then only you will be able to write the codes, right? Okay, this all the things are consist of that jar file. Hibernate jar file is coming. Okay, right. Library equal new. You type this service builder. That's it. After that, you have to write the map. You have to write the map. You have to write string. Right. So you have to select here. I have to import the map class. So here Alt plus enter key. It asks to select the package. You have to import them. After that, you have to write database configure. Configuration equal new hash map. Now what I'm going to do is here this database configuration, select here, copy and paste it over here. Dot put database configuration dot, you have to write the why the put map string and sorry, the problem is there's a problem which is I haven't write the public. You have to write the first, you have to write the public. We forgot to write the public static. I haven't write the main method. Public static void main string args. Okay, this is the main method I forgot to return in the Hibernate. So that's a problem. Right. Now let's click port here. Now it's come. Right. The main inside the main method you have to write the code. Okay. I forgot to write it. So you must write inside the main method the code. Okay. Right. The environment dot user comma root. User root. So while you creating the while you installing the MySQL workbench, what is the here the MySQL workbench? What is the username and password you gave while you installing the MySQL workbench? The same thing you have to given here, right? The username which is a root. So here what I did here is in this map I have to configure the databases, right? Database configuration. You have to configure the database. Here we have to write the service. You have to register the service. Okay, the service here you have to configure the database. So we have to configure the database. You have to implement the map. Okay, the hash map. You have to implement the hash map. You have to create the object which is a database configuration. Database configuration put environment user root. The same thing I just copy and paste it over here. This one should be the database. If you ask, it has another property called pass. Here you have to enter the pass. While you are installing the MySQL workbench, what is the username password you gave? The same username and password you have to given here to configure the database connection. Right. Third step, you have to implement the database driver. So how to implement the database driver? Your database configuration dot put. You have to implement the you have to implement the driver class. Okay, driver. So you have to write driver. You have to driver. What's the driver you have to configure? Okay, this is the new database driver. It's a MySQL connector icon. So you have to write com dot. This is the driver you have to give. MySQL. The new driver is cj dot jdbc dot driver. This is the new driver. Okay, right? So this is not a dot. This is a scum. After that, what you are going to do is third step. I'm going to copy this one, paste it over here. Here, right here, implemented. Here, third one. Here, write the MySQL Hibernate driver. So you have write environment delighted. You have write here. You have write like this. org dot hibernate dot delight dot my SQL delight. Right, you have given like this. Right, perfect. Now after that, what you are going to do is you have the standard library builder. You have write this one, paste it over here. Dot apply settings. You have write apply settings. You have write here this database configuration. This is all the database configuration. You have setting to the standard service. Okay. Here first you have to implement. You have to create the object of the service. Okay, in Hibernate service, you have to create the object. After that, you have to create the mapping. You have to implement the mapping class. So you have to create the database object, database configuration. You have to configure the database over here. Okay, the username and password, your database driver, your data, you have to implement the database driver, and this one should be our database Hibernate, right? So after that, what I'm going to do is here we have to forget one another thing is we have to paste this over here. You have to write it over here. URL. The first thing you have to write the URL. URL. You have to given the URL over here. We have to create the database. So we no need to create the database. So all the database fields are created over here in Hibernate. So how to create the database? You have to write JDBC colon MySQL here localhost. My database in the localhost server. This is the port where my database is running. Okay, this is a database running slash what is the database you are going to create. So I'm going to create the database db school db. You have to create db sms student management system, something like that. I just create the database. Now you have to type the database name db sms. Here you have to type create. If the database not exist, we have to create the database. So data base if not exist, database not exist equal true, right? So here true, right? So that's the thing you have to write. After that you have to close the bracket. You have to close the bracket. That's the thing you have to write. Okay, if the database not exist, we have to create the database db sms, right? That's the thing we have to do it, right? So after that what you're going to do is we have to do the another thing is that we have to apply the database configuration. After that, I'm going to build the register. So how to build the register is you have to write the class standard service registry. You have to write standard registry equal standard service builder. This builder dot build. You have to build this one. You have to build that. These all things you have to build. If you have to build, you have to write here meta data source. Get the meta source equal new meta sources standard registry. After that, you have to write meta data metadata equal metadata source dot get metadata builder. This one. That's it. Builder dot build. That's it. That's the thing you have to write. After that, what you are going to do is after that we have to write the session factory. Session factory. We have to create the object of here. Now here what I'm going to store here is I'm going to date. What is the date and time? We have to display the date and time using the Hibernate, right? So we have to write get session factory builder factory builder dot session factory builder dot build. Right. Now after that we have tried the try and catch block, and we have tried so try. This is a try resources. Okay, we have tried like this. Try resources. You have tried like this. The session. We have create the object session. The session factory is a like a company. Session is a one products. Okay, so session equal this session project object session factory sorry metadata, right? Metadata dot get session factory builder. So session factory uh, your dot, your write get session session factory session. Right, so right here write a wrong thing here, right? Session factory dot get session factory. You write like this, right? So here we have got open session, right? Okay. Now here to open bracket and close bracket. Here we have write the object. You have write obj equal session dot create native query create native query. Here right there select now dot get single result. Here write system dot, you write like this, you write this stout, you write like this, simply you write a result, you implement the result. Okay, so your session close, session factory here close the connection. That's it. So this one should be the object. You write the object here passed, right? The simple stuff. This how we have created. We have to create the database, and here we have in database. You have to the table. We have to getting this one. Select the date and time. This is using the SQL query, right? So in order to running the code, you have to write the app initializer. Right click. You have to run app initializer, right? So you have to build up. All the codes are building. You have to wait until the building process completed. It's building. But it's built successfully. Now you can see this is not error. Okay, this is not error, right? It's working. Now here, what is the problem? You write dbms, the error probably there dbms here, write the if not, you write if, right like this. Okay, now again I'm going to execute the code and check it. Right, now it's great. The problem is here, the if is I have created as a simple error, so you have to make it as capital, it will be working right here. Now you can go and check the MySQL workbench whether the database is created or not. So you can see in normally in our core Java in JDBC connection, we have to create the database manually. Here we don't need to create the database. All the database is created by the code. Okay, in Hibernate ORM2. Okay, the mapping it will be created the database. Okay, here this database is created. Okay, DBSMS here it will be created successfully. DBSMS here it will be created successfully. Now here we have to, this is the current date, it's the current time, it will be displayed. Oh, here date and time, the today date and time it will be displayed. Okay, you have to write like this here. Select now. Now mean today date and time. What's the current time now? It will be taken and displayed. It's very simple, right? So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to do that. Another thing is we have to do simple method. I'm going to generate the method as well. Right, so you have to create a general method. Create the method which is a public static. You have to get a static method void print time, print date time. Here this code, we have what I'm going to do is this all the code, this all the code. I just cut off these lines, paste inside here. Okay, so here, right, paste it over here. Right, you'll paste it over here. Right. You started, this bracket is started over here, it is closed. you have to write testing you have to write the main method, right? So main method, so this main method you have to cut off this one. Main method you have to call is the main method started, it will be called main method, right? Now this print method I just copy and paste inside the main method. It's very simple if you write like this. Okay, inside this function we have paste this all the source code, right? Now what I'm going to do is, again I'm going to create the another things is a print date and time. I'm going to the MySQL version. So how to do the MySQL version, also the same thing. You have to create another function version. You write MySQL version. MySQL version. Open bracket and close bracket. Here I'm going to copy this code, paste it over here. Here you have to change this one as a you have to change it. This all things are fine. You have to change this one as a version. Right, version. Now let's save all and run it again. Sorry, this function we haven't called it. Copy this function, we have to call inside the main method, then only it will be working. Right, now let's run and check. Here the version is displayed successfully, right? This is your date and time, this is a MySQL version, it's displayed successfully, right? Perfect. Now what I'm going to do is we have to write like this, but this is not an efficient way to write. As a beginner you have to write like this. So we have to, this all the database configuration we have to maintain by the separate file. Okay, right? So what you're going to do is you have to create a separate file. That kind of purpose you have to create a separate file, right? That file which can manage your all the database configuration stuff. So how to do the thing is, now I'm going to create the another file in src Hibernate ut. Hibernate. Sorry. Hibernate ut. You have to create another class, Hibernate ut. Now here, what you're going to do is Hibernate util. You have to create, what you're going to do is you have to we have to create, you have to implement these registries. So you write private static standard service registry. Just right. Or you have to write private static session factory. Your session factory, you have to write like this, session factory like this. Right. Now what I'm going to do is here I'm going to write the you have to write static, you have to write the static, you have to write the try block. So you have to write over here if session, you write session you have to write session, this session factory, you have to write session factory equal null, first null, first null, you have to create a connection. So how to write the connection, so you have to write, sorry, right. Open and close bracket. Right. Now what I'm going to do is here if connect this one, what you're going to do is here you have to write this all the connection, which connection is all the connection, you have to write like this here. The connection, we have to cut off these lines by this connection, these are the connections, right? So cut this one, you have to paste it here as well, here, right? You have to paste it over here, cut that line, right? So if it's not okay, right? Okay, you have to write like this. So here we have to write try started, try will be closed, here write here and catch. You write a catch block. You have exception. You have to write open and close bracket. You have to write here if standard standard service registry not null. If it is not null, you have to type this one. Standard registry builder dot destroy this this standard registry. That's the thing you have to write like this. Simple. Okay, very simple. This simple code you have to write like this. Right? So that's the thing we have to write. So right, that's the thing you have to write. What's the error? What is the error? Right. Now I need a one bracket. That's why the error should be displayed. Okay, I have to put it the one bracket to close up. Right. Perfect. Now here you have to write here this try catch is open and close it over here. Here you have to write that we have to access all the classes. So we have to write static the session factory. We have to access other classes. So how to access other classes? Session factory get session factory, right? So open and close bracket. Here you have to return. You have to write return session factory. You write it return. Then only it will be this class will be we have to working in the other classes. Okay, if you are written. Okay, so here now we have to go to app initializer. Here we write like this. Here we have to write here Hibernate util. This class will be displayed out here. Dot get session factory. It will be displayed. Get session property. It's all. But that's it. So this one we don't need them, right? So the same thing you have to write like the same thing. You have to copy it. These all the lines we don't need them at the moment. We have to cut off these all the lines. We have to call here. That Hibernate util, right? That's the thing you have no need. Right. Now let's check whether it's working fine or not, right? Right, this problem is coming here, the Hibernate. So here the session factory I already given here. Okay, sorry, again I have written here. You have to here you have to remove this, and again you have to run the file and check. Now here working. Date and time is working. Right, it's working perfect for Hibernate. Now here, now this all the configuration. Okay, we have to make as a make it as simply. So we have to go to the project structure, go to the modules. So here what you are going to do is modules, right? um, Modules. So you right at the and click this plus symbol. Here you have to select the Hibernate, right? You have to click Hibernate. You type plus symbol Hibernate XML. You have to get the Hibernate XML over here, right? So apply and OK. You have to get this file over here, right? You have to sample file. So this file we have to configure all the database connection and all the things from here. It's very simple, right? So this is the way. Okay, right? So here this all since I uncommitted, we have to shift control shift forward slash. We have to forward slash. Okay, this no need this at the moment. Toss is the URL. Try like this here. The property close sorry, session factory. You have write this one as a session factory. We'll call a session factory. This one is session factory. So here we have to write like this. Property, we have to close a property here over here. Right now here what I'm going to do is this property started and close it. This one should be the session factory. Right now here this one session factory. Here what I'm going to do is session factory. Here the property we have to write like this. This one we know we have to. Right now here this one session property. This one should be you have to close it as a property. Property. Right. Okay. Property. Right now the second one, the third one here we have to write like this here. Here we have write this a property. Don't write like this here. Don't write here. The second should be the driver. What's the driver you are using? This driver. So here. After that we have a third step is we have to configure the username. Username, what is the username we have given here? Root. Put here username root. Password, the same thing. The password is a root 123. Right. So you have to configure like this. So after that we have to configure another thing is this one, delete. So you have to write like this, another property you have to create. There is this property you have to copy it, paste it over here. This one should be the Hibernate delete. You have to write Hibernate dot to dot auto. Here right here is an update. Right, update. Right, so update here we have write this one is you have to write this property here, write session factory. Open and close it. Right. So here we have this one, we don't need this one. Right. Okay. Now what I'm going to do is here third property here write like this here. This one should be name. Here write the delete. So here we write this one, here you have to write this one, you have to paste it over here. This one you have to cut this line, paste it over here. That's it. That's the thing here. Okay. So this one Hibernate out of this one. Right. Okay, perfect. Right. Now we configure the property and all. This is the professional way to configure the Hibernate properties. Right. Now what I'm going to do is after done the stuff, we'll go to the Hibernate util. Now this all the things we no need them. Right. So this all the things we no need them. Right. So okay, this all the lines we have to get rid of these lines. We no need them. Here we have to write the thing is standard service. You have to write like this here. This one you have to write here standard service registry equal new standard registry builder dot configure dot builder dot config. This config dot so config here we have to write like this here config this class. Okay, you have to write, you have to rename, you have to refactor rename the same thing. I just copied. You have to paste it. So all the configuration we have to mention here. My configuration is there dot build. That call the build. It will be built. Right. This how we have to make the Hibernate simple. Right. This how we have to make the Hibernate simple. Simple way we have to make the Hibernate like this way. Right. Don't worry, this is all the source code I provide you. Again, I'm going to execute the code and check it. Right. Now here it's working. Right here, the date and time, this is a date, date and time. Here it's a version. All the things are working. Right. This is how we have this is how we have configured the Hibernate project simple. Okay. This is the we have to create the separate Hibernate uh, CFG XML file after the util. Okay. The apps initializer. Here we have to write the SQL codes, right? So in our next video, we'll be see the how to make the simple CRUD application using Hibernate. Thank you for watching.